Yo.
All my life, been grinding all my life.
Ladies and gentlemen,
hustle paid the price. Want a slice.
Welcome back
That's why all my life I've been grinding all my life.
to Dark Racial Humor.
Been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice.
A little bit of Nipsy Hussle for you. Start off the episode.
Been grinding all my life. Look, I'm married to this gang. That's who I made my wife. Said I die alone. I told that bitch she probably right. One thing that's for sure, not a stranger to this life. Got a safe that's full of Franklins and a shoulder full of stripes. I don't know a nigga like myself. I say self.
All right. I'll be honest with you. That's the second time. The second time I've listened to the late Nipsey Hussle. Rest in peace. You heard the news. Do I even got to go into it? What's up, everybody? Welcome to Dark Racial Humor, free-flowing, in-depth conversation about whatever is appropriate at the time. And right now is the time to tell you that today is going to be a solo show, because last show was such an abomination because myself and my co-host, Caller John, were not in the same location. So we had to phone it in, and it was just god-awful. It was just trash. It was bullshit. And there's no excuse for it. And so, you know what? I'm just going to have to do this one myself because Caller John is out of town. So, we have a great episode for you today. Luckily, I have the crutch on my side of the past week of news to talk about. So much to get into. Man, it's going to be a solid episode of me listening to myself talk. I don't even know if I introduced myself. My name is Bon Jen. I am almost live here from Adobe House Records in South Los Angeles, California, where the great Nipsey Hussle was taken from us. God, Nipsey Hussle was murdered in cold blood, unfortunately, outside of his clothing store, if I understand it. And I'm going to be honest with you, folks. You probably already realized that I am not a big Nipsey Hussle fan. But this man's death actually had a way bigger impact than I expected. Truly. We're 3 days after, 2-3 days after, and it's still all over social media, and I'm just like, wow. But I'm really didn't really know much about him personally. I knew he had a lot of business ventures. He was a man who was more than rap, a man who really made great strides to give back to his community and pull the community together, and it is truly a sad, unfortunate event that he was taken from us. We're going to talk more about that and other controversies that are going around the internet surrounding his death. Later in today's episode, and also on the following episode with myself and Caller John, I'm sure that's going to be a great conversation. But first, I want to talk a little bit more about what's going on. So, apparently, the guy who shot Nipsey Hussle, who was shot 6 times, was at large for the past couple of days in Los Angeles. LAPD was going crazy looking for this guy. And as of about 45 minutes ago, a suspect has been arrested for the killing of Nipsey Hussle. Here's a little bit of that from
Breaking
ABC
news
News.
out of Los Angeles tonight, an arrest just a short time ago in the murder of Grammy-nominated rapper Nipsey Hussle. These images just coming in tonight, police taking the suspect into custody. Authorities do not believe this was gang-related. What they're now saying about this tonight, and it comes amid that new surveillance showing the moment the artist was shot and killed. ABC's Adrian Bankert from Los Angeles.
Tonight, after an aggressive, all-out manhunt, authorities say they've captured 29-year-old Eric Holder, the prime suspect in the murder of rapper Nipsey Hussle.
There he is. There he is.
The news comes just hours after police called for him to turn himself in.
To Mr. Holder, who I am confident is watching this,
and is listening to these media accounts, I ask him to surrender.
Police scouring surveillance videos gathered from the scene, including this one obtained by TMZ. It shows the suspect talking to Hussle, leave, then return before opening fire and escaping in a white Chevy Cruze driven by a woman. Police say his murder was not a gang fight, but a personal dispute. Overnight, a vigil for the Grammy-nominated artist in the parking lot where he was murdered. It turned into a stampede after someone brandished a gun. David, mourners continue to file in here at the vigil to pay their respects. Police say this was not gang-related, but a personal dispute. David?
Adrian Bankert with us again.
Okay. He's been caught. All right. Cool. Interesting. So, huge topic of discussion here. And I guess this settles that. Was this gang-related? You know, I've heard a lot of conspiracy theories, a lot of Twitter stories saying that the government killed Nipsey Hussle because they tried to silence him because of a documentary he's working on. That seems the most far-fetched to me personally. One was mentioned about how Nipsey was doing everything in his power to remedy gang relations in Los Angeles communities. And someone was just like, you know what, fuck that. I'm going to murder this guy, and gangs are going to turn on each other once again. That one made a little more sense to me. But apparently, the whole thing was not gang-related. So it really, and they said it was a personal dispute. Maybe that's all it was. Maybe it was just a violent act of aggression. A very stupid guy just got angry and was like, you know what, I'm gonna fucking kill this guy. Really fucking awful. Regardless of whether he knew who he was killing or not, like, you shouldn't fucking do that to a person. Sorry to sound like I'm laughing, but I just think it's funny that it would even matter whether Nipsey Hussle is famous or not. Like, he's still a person doing good by his community. Real sad. Yeah, and this guy deserves to rot away for life because truly awful. He had like a family, you know. Awesome. Cool. Now I'm fucking crying and shit. God damn it. I'm sorry, guys. Here's some more Nipsey Hussle. Don't even listen to this guy.
Street nigga touching them first meals. Whoa. All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life, I've been grinding all my life. Yeah. All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price.
Okay, I'm back, and I am composed, and I am ready to continue this episode of Dark Racial Humor, because that's what you come here, folks. This fucking entertaining news, this fucking get down. What's good with our boy Jussie Smollett? You know, we have been covering this. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Oh, man, drinking water too fast. We've been covering this Jussie Smollett case since the beginning. You've been coming here to get your Jussie Smollett news. And during the biggest part of the case where he was dropped of all 16 felony charges, we weren't in town to bring you that information. So instead we brought you a bullshit episode, and the ratings prove it, the money proves it for sure. Yeah, so, you know, now I'm back trying to remedy the situation, to bring you some more Jussie Smollett news. So, Hollywood is taking sides. Jussie Smollett was nominated for an NAACP award. Host Anthony, whatever his name is, that guy from Blackish, said, and I quote, "I hope he wins. I would love to hear his speech." Chris Rock hops on stage at the NAACP awards, and he basically just confirms what I have been lightly saying for the past couple weeks, that you can't, basically, it's kind of hard to have individual thought in terms of politics and race relations if you are African American. And Chris Rock proves it with this speech. I'm going to play it right now. Let's take a listen.
An award. They said no Jussie Smollett jokes.
Right here, I'm going to pause it. Okay, they said no Jussie Smollett jokes. The NAACP Awards said no Jussie Smollett jokes. The National Association for Advancement of Colored People. Yeah, I looked it up. Fuck you. Yeah, okay, so, sounds a little protective if you ask me. Thankfully, Chris Rock is a free thinker, so we're just going to continue with this speech from the NAACP Awards and see what he has to say about no Jussie Smollett jokes.
Yeah, I know. What a waste of light skin, you know? You know what I could do with that light skin? That curly hair, my career would be out of here. I'm fucking running Hollywood. Yes, no, just... What the hell was he thinking? From now on, I ain't never gonna know you're Jussie from now on. You don't even get the you no more.
You can see a bunch of people uncomfortably laughing in the audience. You had that girl from that show Insecure. What was her name? What's her name? She looked pretty uncomfortable laughing at that joke from Chris Rock. Do I support Jussie? Do I not? I'm on TV right now. And then you had Trevor Noah, of course, pretending to laugh as hard as he can, because all comedians have to do that for some reason. Like Chris Rock over-exaggerates his laugh whenever he's laughing for the paparazzi. It's fucking weird, bro. No joke is that funny, man. Honestly, truly. Tell me a joke funny enough to justify you laughing how hard you fucking look like you're laughing. In every picture of you at the Laker game, courtside with Jay-Z. Like, what is he whispering in your ear that's making you, fucking Kevin Hart, one of the highest paid comedians of all time, laugh that hard? Why doesn't Jay-Z just do stand-up if he's so fucking funny? I don't know. Come on, man. I don't know. Image is everything. Okay, so back to whatever the hell we were talking about. NAACP, Chris Rock, basically saying, you know what? No, I am not going to say what you want me to say. I am an individual person, so I'm going to go ahead and make a Jussie Smollett joke because you know what? I'm going to tell people what I truly think of the situation. Chris Rock wasn't the only one to take aim at Mr. Jussie Smollett. Apparently, Tracy Morgan also said something funny, which I am looking up for the first time right now, because this is dark racial humor.
But I heard you got a new gig, though. Is this true?
Yeah, they gave me a role on Empire.
They did?
Yeah.
Now, what is your... What are you gonna do on
well,
that?
Contractually, they give me millions of dollars. Contractually, all I gotta do is not fake a hate crime. That's it.
Oh, yeah,
Jussie.
That's all you have to do.
That's all I have to do.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, you don't buy that story.
What?
What happened?
Nah, man. Come on. First of all, racist people don't be jumping nobody in the polar vortex.
You're saying it's too cold?
Yeah, man. Racists don't be watching Empire, man. It's too cold. They say we be racist in the spring. Because it was like 10 seconds of footage, and then he disappears for like 2 seconds. Then he reappears with the noose on his neck, still holding the Subway sandwich. He ain't let that Subway sandwich go. I think it was pepperoni and cheese. I don't know.
yeah. That was the giveaway there. He's still holding his...
Of course.
Yeah.
It's true. He was still holding that Subway sandwich. Thank God. They let him get away with not only his life, but the Subway sandwich. And he went home, and he chowed down on that motherfucker 40 minutes before he called the police. He had to get that fucking sandwich eaten. Okay, that's beside the point. Hollywood is choosing sides here. Even Jimmy Fallon, during this whole spiel, was looking quite uncomfortable. And thank God Jussie Smollett didn't go to the NAACP Awards, because that would have been horrible. He would have gotten eaten alive. It would have been horrible. Oh, man. Career's over. Apparently, it's deeper than just jokes, folks. Jussie's attorney, forgot her name, may be under investigation soon for her whole thing. I don't know. The mayor of Chicago's pissed. The police chief of Chicago is pissed. They have even gone so far to suggest that Jussie Smollett pay a fine upwards of $130,000 for abusing police resources. Yes. So Jussie already paid his fine for the fucking bond, which is $10,000. I mean, if you're innocent, if I was innocent, I wouldn't want to pay that money anyway. Anyway, this is according to APnews.com. A brewing battle over Chicago's demand that Jussie Smollett recoup the city more than $130,000 for an investigation into his report of a racist anti-gay attack, and the Empire Actors Department apparent determination not to pay it could ultimately lead to a civil lawsuit where a jury would have to answer the question that was supposed to be answered in criminal court: was the attack staged or not? So, city wants $130,000 for using taxpayer money to pay people to work on this case, because $10,000 ain't gonna cut it. Jussie's like, no, it's gonna go to civil court, and they're gonna ask the same question again, and we're gonna see if the same thing happens again. It's a really interesting case to go down in the history of law, honestly. He's definitely someone that's going to be notable for this long into the future, and less for his role on Empire. The Empire Writers Room actually tweeted, "See you at work on Wednesday," after he was all of his charges were dropped. So, maybe he's back on the show. But this isn't an Empire podcast. My Empire podcast is coming soon. Don't you worry, folks. So yeah, that's all the airtime I want to give to Jussie Smollett right now, because honestly, this case kind of sucks. This case ruined my family vacation. Come on. A family should not be arguing about the Jussie Smollett case over breakfast in Cabo. Come on, man. It's mostly my fault. But I didn't bring it up. But, it happens. All right. We're going to be back after a break. This is Dark Racial Humor.
One slice, got to roll the dice, that's why all my life I've been grinding all my life. Look, I got everything I said I was gonna get on my kid. In addition to that fact, I went legit. I'm the shit now, according to the way that I'm positioned. In this biz, it look like I'm just gonna keep on getting rich. Know them West Side RSCs is us. LAPD on my dick, I'ma squeeze and bust. If a rap nigga did switch cheese and bust, all this rap money, nigga, look, I need too much. To a 14 to a whole thing. Lord knows it's a cold game. Switched up on you hoes, man. Big body take both lanes. Backseat blowing propane. All black, 5 gold chains. Young rich nigga bossed up on his own, man. My new shit sound like a soul train. Tookie Williams over Coltrane. Eric B by the rope chains. RC, we for show bang. Tiny Lokes and they go crazy. What you know about the dope game?
What's up? Y'all, this is Dark Racial Humor, free-flowing, in-depth conversation about whatever's appropriate at the time. My name is Bon Jin. This is episode 62, and all episode we are honoring the life of Mr. Late Nipsy Hussle. Yeah, great guy. This is my third song I've listened to of Nipsey Hussle. Really enjoying the music now after he's dead. It always tastes better after death for some reason. It's super weird. Okay, so we have a lot more news to get into. Damn, so much news. I just love just having shit to talk about. I can just sit back, I can relax. I don't have to struggle to, find just bullshit. It's a nice relaxed episode. I don't have a co-host yelling in my face, just spitting in my water. Just kidding. All love over here. So sorry for leaving you listeners waiting. Let's jump back into it. So, Special Olympics. Dun 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 dun. Betsy DeVos last week proposed that we should cut the $17.6 million that fund the Special Olympics. Of course, outrage from really both sides of the aisle on this one. $17.6 is so little in the grand scheme of things. I don't really know why you would cut it. But this is from USAToday.com. President Donald Trump said he would jettison a proposal to slash funding for the Special Olympics, undercutting Education Secretary Betsy DeVos. Speaking with reporters at the White House before embarking to Michigan for a rally, Trump said he would keep the program funded. DeVos was the target of widespread criticism for proposing to eliminate a federal funding for the Special Olympics. The $17.6 million would be a small part of the $7 billion proposed cuts that the department that will trim department spending by 10%. DeVos, however, proposed additional funding for a few programs, including charting schools and tax credit for individual companies that donate to scholarships for private schools. Okay. Thoughts on this? Like I said, $17.6 million is so little. Why cut it in the first place? The Special Olympics aren't harming anybody, and also, Special Olympics gets so much money, so much outside money from private donors. Even if funding were to be cut, the Special Olympics would still happen. If they would probably get 10 times more donors if the government cut the Special Olympics. But it's doing so little harm of the government funding this thing that makes so many people happy and really equalizes competitive sports for people with special needs. So why the fuck not? For the principle. So yeah, do I think that's a huge deal? Not really. Because, like I said, it would receive so much outside money from private donors. Anyway, fuck what I say. Here's the man himself talking about it, because I'm tired of talking.
Let's bring in Caitlin Huey-Burns and Sean Sullivan. Caitlin is a CBSN political reporter, and Sean is a national political reporter for The Washington Post. Thanks to you both for being here. Caitlin, let me start with you on this walk back from the president on this Special Olympics budget proposal to cut the funding. Here's what he told reporters about this before leaving for his rally in Michigan.
Special Olympics will be funded. I just told my people I want to fund the Special Olympics, and I just authorized a funding of the Special Olympics. I've been to the Special Olympics. I think it's incredible, and I just authorized a funding. I heard about it this morning. I have overridden my people with funding the Special Olympics.
I mean, Caitlin, so interesting to hear the president say that he just heard about it this morning and he's overridden his people.
And it's the president's own budget, which is important to point out. And here he is responding to the public pressure kind of off the fly. And it raises questions that we've seen throughout his administration.
What is his hidden agenda? It has to be something. He has to be doing something under the rug. Think critically. What could he possibly be doing by funding the Special Olympics? Of course, there always has to be something, right? Wrong. No, probably not. Maybe he's just funding the Special Olympics, because why not? It's kind of like when he was taking steps to decriminalize being gay in other countries. And people were like, specifically Out magazine, he can do like some good things sometimes. Like, even though he's like an oaf, a cartoon character, just a classless oaf. Like, sometimes he could like do something good. So there you go. That's the thing. It's okay. Let's just all be fucking friends. God damn it! In the name of Nipsey Hussle. Jesus. What else is going on? God damn it, got me pissed off. Fuck, I'm just kidding. Okay, so, U.S. government declares Grindr a national security risk. This was a phenomenal piece. This is from Fortune.com. Grindr, one of the most popular dating apps with the LGBTQ community, is up for sale after the U.S. government panel declared it a national security risk. A report from Reuters says Chinese gaming company Beijing Kunlun Tech Co. decided to sell the app, which it has owned for 3 years. After learning about the designation from the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States. It's unclear what the committee's concerns were, but U.S. officials have been increasingly wary of Chinese-owned companies handling extensive amounts of personal data for Americans, especially if military or government personnel might use those products or services. Grindr had already been under public scrutiny after revelations last year that it was sharing the HIV status of its users without their permissions. Holy shit, I didn't know about that. The crackdown is the latest in a series of moves against Chinese businesses by the Trump administration, which is already seeking to ban all telecom equipment from Huawei Telecommunications. The company is suing to block the action. Beijing Kunlun's decision to sell will likely mean an end, at least temporarily, to the planned IPO at Grindr. The group bought its stake in the company in 2016 for $93 million and took full ownership last year. The app, as of 2016, has boasted some 27 million users as of last year. Okay, so, first of all, before I get into the story, I have to say, why in the fucking hell would you ever use an app that is owned by a Chinese company? Because the Chinese government could easily seize all that data, your location, all the nudes you send, your HIV status. Like, okay, come on. Holy shit. That's basically what happened. This Chinese company bought Grindr in 2016 for $93 million. And so now a Chinese company has basically all this data about Americans, and I feel like no one cares. But apparently the Trump administration cares because they're making moves to bring the company back to America so that, the Chinese government can't seize all that sensitive American data. Awesome. Okay, that's great. Not good news for Grindr though. That planned IPO is probably gonna have to take a back seat for a little bit. I'm sure there are alternative. Can't you just use Tinder? Can't you use Tinder for everything, or Bumble? I don't know. Let's talk about that young 2020 election coming up, yo. What's going on with Biden? This is a post from the New York Times. The wrong time for Joe Biden. By Michelle Goldberg. He's not a sexual predator, but he's out of touch. Opinion column. Holy shit, this is long. Okay. I'll just read a little bit. On Friday, Lucy Flores, a former Democratic candidate for Lieutenant Governor of Nevada, accused Joe Biden of touching her inappropriately as they waited to take the stage at a 2014 election rally. He put his hands on her shoulders, she said, then nuzzled her hair and kissed the back of her head. She didn't accuse Biden, who was reportedly close to announcing his presidential candidacy, of sexual harassment or assault, just of making her uncomfortable. I'm not suggesting that Biden broke any laws, but the transgressions that society deems minor, or doesn't even see as transgressions, often feel considerable to the person on the receiving end, she wrote. Okay, so what is going on here? This girl felt uncomfortable around Joe Biden, who is known to be a little touchy-feely because he's 72 years old, and you know how 72-year-olds can be, right? Weird, creepy. He likes to grab shoulders, he likes to kiss on the head. He doesn't sexually assault. He just oversteps his boundaries when he's touching women, just, making them feel uncomfortable. In the age of the Me Too era, and in the age of the Me Too era, this is honestly like it's his candidacy is pretty much over. Like, I'm just gonna be straight up about it, and it's kind of interesting that it's coming from the Democratic side too. Even though there's no explicit saying he sexually assaulted me, she even said no, he just made me feel uncomfortable. Like, this is, like, not going to be good. If this were a Republican, he would be, like, dragged to the sand. Absolutely. But, this is, one of those things that's definitely gonna hurt him. And he probably, here's a response to it. In response, Biden released a statement saying that while he's often been physically affectionate as a politician, not once, never did I believe I acted inappropriately. And you know what? I believe him. I just think he's a little touchy-feely, and unfortunately, that is going to help hurt his presidential campaign. Yikes. Sorry, bro. Let's talk about Mr. Bernie Sanders. Mr. Bernie Sanders has been killing it so far in his race to the White House. Mr. 77-year-old Bernie Sanders has earned a whopping $18 million in 6 weeks. This is according to the New York Times. Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont has raised $18.2 million over the first 6 weeks of his presidential bid. His campaign announced Tuesday a display of financial strength that cements his status as one of the top fundraisers in the sprawling Democratic field. Mr. Sanders received amidst 900,000 contributions from 525,000 individual donors. His campaign manager, Faiz Shakir, said the average donation was $20 compared with $27 in Mr. Sanders' 2016 presidential campaign. Mr. Shakir said that as a majority of Mr. Sanders' donors were under the age of 39 and that 20% of all donors had not contributed to Mr. Sanders' previous campaigns. He said that 88% of the total money raised came from donors giving $200 or less. Mr. Sanders' announcement of his fundraising for the first quarter of the year had been highly anticipated, as he was expected to reveal a sizable total. Presidential candidates must report their first quarter fundraising to the Federal Election Commission by April 15th, but they can choose to disclose information before the deadline. Mr. Sanders is killing it right now. In terms of donations, he is definitely in first place. And I am currently looking up the amount of donations because, you know me, I don't know. Okay, so he's in first place, I believe. Followed by Kamala Harris, and then Mr. Beto O'Rourke. Joe Biden has not officially put his hat in the race, but as we all know, he doesn't even need to because he's not going to do very well because he is a little too touchy-feely. Bernie Sanders is going to be the top Democratic pick in the 2020 election. I say this every episode because he is the most in line with what that side of the radical side of the party sees today. They're all about that socialism. It's proven because the media continues to prop AOC up as a goddess with her socialist ideology. They love that. The kids love that. Not only that, Bernie Sanders is quote unquote woke. He is appealing to the African American community by saying that Republicans are repressing black voters at the polls, which is untrue because I'm black and I currently live in a low-income neighborhood, and I voted in a low-income neighborhood with lots of other black people, and it was honestly a little too easy. And also, in 2008, black people overrepresented for their demographic in terms of voter turnout for Obama. So to say that there's like voter suppression is kind of untrue. Like, the only thing you really need is a driver's license, and how hard is it to get that? Not very. Yeah. It's honestly pandering. I don't think he believes what he's saying. He's just really trying to win that African American vote, because I feel like that's a really important demographic to win if you are running as a Democrat right now. He's running up against two other African Americans, Kamala Harris from San Francisco and Cory Booker from New Jersey. And yeah, so they're just going to try their best to out-left each other. And it's going to be great. I love it. Yeah, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with a couple more stories. It's been a real relaxing episode.
To the streets 'cause you grew up on show change. Fucked
we'll
up
be
when the
back.
dope age. It remind me when these rappers drop duds and they quotes change. Had to part with the low fade. I was standing in front of Knicks with my sack for the whole day. Drive-bys, I was road rage. We park and hop out, learn levels to this whole thing. Old school play the OJs, trying to make a slow change. Mama still slaving for a low wage. Trying to double up, yeah. 3 or 4 times, I ain't telling no lies, I just run it up. Never let a hard time humble us. Think if I call it the great, the people gon' call it the truth. I ain't really trip on the credit. I just paid all of my dues. I just respected the game. Now my name all in the news. Tripping on all of my moves. Quote me on this, got a lot more to prove. Remember I came in this bitch.
What's up, guys? Hey, what's up, everybody? Ooh, sounds nice.
I don't do this shit for nothing. No, not at all. You, but my money ring, that you do.
Oh, for sure. I like this song. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Dark Racial Humor, free-flowing, in-depth conversation about whatever is appropriate at the time. My name is Bon Jin. I'm almost live from Adobe House Records in South Los Angeles, California, home of the late, great Nipsey Hussle. We're celebrating his live all 61st or 62nd episode, whatever the hell this is. It's great. It's starting to heat up here. I'm feeling good. Starting to get a little warm out here. I love it. Starting to feel like summer. Really need to get a grill so I can start grilling up out there with the butterflies and the flies and shit. I love podcasting. Is anybody out there listening to this man just ramble? Hopefully. I want to give a quick shout out to all our listeners. I'm logging on to Anchor right now just to see what the numbers are at. So first and foremost, we have 817 total plays since we joined Anchor in February. 58% of our listeners are from the United States, 24% are from the UK. Greetings, UK people. 8% from France. What's up, France? Canada, 3%. Netherlands, 1%. want to dig into, so all the UK are in England. That's cool. U.S., shout out California, Maryland, Florida, Wisconsin, Zona, Michigan, and Tennessee. I love it. I love it. Thanks for staying racial. We have a lot more to talk about. Just kidding. We don't at all. I'm really going to drag this along because I like making money and I like just talking. Today's hashtag equal pay day on Twitter. What the hell is that? Okay. So we're going to explain it. Equal pay day. Apparently, I woke up to this. April 2nd, 2019. So, according to some people, a woman makes 77% of what a man makes to the dollar. So, women would have to work instead of 12 months, the 12 months of 2018, all the way into April. So, January, February, March, April. 16 months to make the same amount as a man. Which is interesting because paying minimum the same has been the law since like 1963, right? Equal Wage Act. Yep, Equal Wage Act of 1963. Let's read it. It's to prohibit the discrimination on account of sex in the payment of wages by employees engaged in commerce or in the production of goods by commerce. So, have all of these businesses been breaking the law blatantly for the past, almost 60 years? Because that's what it seems like. No, that's simply not the case. Where this information comes from, the 77 cents to the dollar, is not incorporating so much more important information. Like, first of all, what kind of job are they doing? What hours are they taking? Did they take off time to raise a family? Which is the biggest, because during that time, that's when a lot of important initial career advancements start to take place, when people start noticing that they begin making more money. And when women come back into the workforce after starting a family, after taking 3 to 5 years off or so, 2, 3, 4, 5 years off, they're going to most likely be making the same amount of money they were making when they left their job 5 years ago. So this is just like, I don't know, this just feels just like a fake thing to get people riled up. I've heard arguments that, like, I don't know, it's like it's the law. You have to pay people. Like, can someone name a job where, like, I could apply and get paid more than a woman? Because I will take that job right now. I'm sure a lot of men would, but those jobs just don't exist. So, yeah. I don't know, dude. Fake science, man. Fake facts. Fake facts. Look it up. Look it up, dude. Equal Pay Act of 1963. Because I work with women, and they get paid the same amount as me. So, I don't know. And I work for the city. I work for the government. Yeah, like, unless you're talking exclusively the private sector, yeah, go ahead. Try getting a job at Starbucks and saying, hey, yeah, I'd like to get paid. Try asking. So, like, hey, I would like to get paid more than women. Yeah, you will not be hired. Come on. Okay. Fake science, man. Fake news, dude. What else is going on in the world so we can wrap up this episode? Here's a fun article from The Atlantic. Millennials are sick of drinking, but they're not giving up booze just yet. On January 20th, 2017, Casey Shoon rolled into work with a hangover. It was the morning of Donald Trump's presidential inauguration. Oh, so she was celebrating? And Shoon, who doesn't count herself among the president's fan, I guess so she was just drinking, had gone out for drinks with friends the night before to take her mind off it. The evening's distracted left her in pretty rough shape the next day. I was in this meeting feeling absolutely miserable, and I was like, this is not what grown-ups do. Since then, Shoon, who is 37, who lives in 37, who lives in I'm 23 for reference, who lives in Denver, has cut way back on alcohol. Drinking has to be more of an occasion for me now, like someone's birthday or a girl's night, she says, so it's once in every couple weeks instead of a weekly occurrence. Drinking less wasn't always simple for her. Denver is a young town with a vibrant brewery and bar scene. The Shroon's social circle. Okay, you know what? Before we get further into this, it's just going to say millennials are getting sick of drinking because, they're growing up. But, I have drastically cut down on drinking since college. I'm 23. I don't live in Denver, but I live in Los Angeles. There's lots of fun things to do. It's also because I'm broke mostly, but, I don't know. I don't know. Jesus. Let's just get back into it. In the past few weeks, I've heard from more than 100 Americans in their 20s and 30s who have begun to make similar changes in their drinking habits or who are contemplating ways to drink less. They have good company. Public health efforts have helped drive down the adolescent drinking rates, and American beverage manufacturers are beginning to hedge their bets on alcohol's future. Media, too, has noticed the changes afoot. Recent months have seen a flurry of trend stories about millennials, currently 22 to 38 years old, being sober. But sobriety, a term that generally refers to the total abstention practiced by people in recovery from substance abuse problem, doesn't quite tell the story. What some have been quick to characterize as an interest in being sober might actually be more like a search for moderation in culture that has long treated alcohol as a dichotomy. Either you drink whatever the opportunity presents itself, or you don't drink at all. Many millennials, and especially the urban college-educated consumers prized by marketers, might just be tired of drinking too much. Yep, you know what happens? Sometimes you just grow up and you realize, hey, you know what, I'm spending too much money on this shit. I gotta eat. And then you start drinking less. Or, I don't know, maybe people were drinking less because being a millennial isn't really that bad. I mean, think about it. Yeah, sure, millennials may be characterized as the lazy generation, or the generation that's coddled, or the generation that is, quote unquote, catered to. I don't know. But think about what millennials have built. The tools. Facebook was created by a millennial. The greatest communication tool in history, probably. Crazy. All of these businesses, all these thriving businesses, all of this industry that's generating millions of dollars. It is great to be alive right now in this country because at the touch of a couple buttons, you can have anything that you want at your door the next day. It has never been easier to get something. It's crazy. Maybe that's why we're drinking less, because it's easier to live. But then you get, mental illness and all that shit, and social anxiety and all that. I don't know. I don't really want to get into it, dude. You know what? We're just going to end the episode, because I want to go take a walk in the beautiful, beautiful spring air of South Los Angeles before it gets dark and scary. We're just going to... I'm just going to remind you guys that if you enjoy Dark Racial Humor, you can go ahead and subscribe, or, you can donate to us for 99 cents a month, $4.99 a month, or $9.99 a month. And with that, you will get pretty much the same thing you get for free, but it helps keep the lights on here at Adobe House Records. Yeah, I'm Bon Jen. I'm going to play a little Nipsey to end the episode, and we'll see you back here tomorrow or in a couple days. Enjoy.
Straight off the curb, real niggas rich as you nerds. Address to whom and make it sound. I don't do this for nothing. Nah. I don't do this shit for nothing. No, not at all. Yeah. But my money real. this shit for nothing.